So, how's your day going?
My day's going great. Just woke up, had some food while doing some online courses as usual. Probably like a few hours. Went to the gym last night, and yeah, now I'm here with you. So yeah, it's going great.
You're doing a lot of things.
Yes, I do many things, and it's funny because it doesn't look like it because I'm always in my room. So everyone that's I work with and that's hang outside, um, they don't think I do a lot of things because I don't look like I do a lot of things. So I'm always on my computer. Um,
Hmm.
But yeah, I do many things.
So, if you don't hesitate, tell something about you and your work to our audience. What you do.
Um, so I have my day job as a chef. So I chef during my day job. When I come back, I will start doing my online stuff. So I have an online store that's up and running right now. I have yet to start any marketing campaigns. Um, it's called Serene Home Imaging. It's a store on Etsy where I sell photography canvas prints. It's like a wall art. So I have that. I'm finishing up my esports coaching. So that's going to be finished soon in just about a week because that's when the split ends. Um, I drive Uber when I'm bored, and
Hmm.
um, and yeah, that's basically it. Stocks, dividends, crypto. I try to stay on top of all those portfolios. But other than that, yeah, that's basically what I do right now.
So, where did you live in?
I'm in New
Where
Zealand right
do
now.
I mean? Yeah, where do you live in now?
Yeah, I'm in New Zealand currently.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
And as I know, you are basically from China.
hmm
So, how is your journey? Like, you shift at your own in new country. So,
Well, I came here at a very young age. I came here when I was 4 years old. So back
wow.
back then there weren't many other Asian people.
Hmm.
Um, so it was a bit weird because like as a 4 year old you don't really know what's going on. So
Yeah,
sometimes
obviously.
sometimes people will make fun of you and you just don't know why. Like Like I'm sure if any of those Asian audiences out there, like at some point, they do like when they try and make fun of you, they do this eye thing, right? Where they pull their eyes sideways. I never understood I never understood that. Like they will do
Wait.
that, but I didn't know that they were making fun of me, so it's just very confusing. Um, but I was lucky I came at a young age, so I adapted rather well. I've been in this country for over 20 years now. Um, And yeah, racism and stuff definitely was a little bit of a thing, but like I said, I was too young to understand it. And as I grew up, it just didn't really become a thing. Um, just because I guess I don't have a I don't have an Asian accent. I spoke English like everybody
Yeah.
else. I can relate. I have the same sense of humor to people around me. So like yes, I appear Asian, but I can relate to them more in day-to-day life. So it's not really like I don't. It's not really hard. Like at the start, it's really funny because China is a very homogenous country where you really
Yes.
rarely find anybody that's not Chinese. But when you come here, it's very multicultural. So after like when I went to school, I didn't understand that Chinese people did things this way, white people did things the other
Hmm.
way, Indian people do things that way, Islander people do things that way. Like I didn't really have that concept because to me, back home in China, everyone was just Chinese, right? So that was very new, but I was lucky to come here at a very young age to be able to adapt to that and to be more open-minded and culturally aware. Yeah.
So, are you? Good at your mother language, like Chinese?
My English is definitely, I consider my native language, even though I didn't learn it first. I'm still conversationally fluent in both Mandarin and Cantonese, so I can still just have a normal conversation, but I am the most natural. I can express myself most naturally when I'm speaking English. Yeah. Mm.
So it's a little bit background of yours. Now we talk about the thing you are masters in.
Mm.
I think it's also your favorite topic, esport.
Mm.
So tell me about your experience in all those esport stuffs.
So esports, I always joke about this to my friends how when it comes to esports, I was born too early. So I started my first ever experience with any form of esports, whatever, was when I was 16 years old. Played this game called Halo Reach on the Xbox 360 Slim, and some of you may have heard this if you're into esports, especially if you're into shooting games. Is FaZe Clan. So there's an organization called FaZe Clan.
Yeah, yeah,
They wanted me to play for them, but the legal age to play was 17, and I was 16, so I couldn't play for
just one
FaZe
year.
Clan. So
Yes.
so that was my first encounter with esports that I realized that hey, like there was something there. Um, and yeah, after Halo Reach, when I was 17, I started playing League of Legends just because everyone around me was playing it. And it was one of those moments where like you're hanging around a group of friends and they're all talking about something, but you're the only one that don't know what they're talking about.
Don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
exactly, right? So I'm just there and I'm like, what is this League of Legends stuff? So I started playing it. I was completely terrible at it. And I just got hooked, right? There was this one part in my life where I had to do these high school exams. Over here, it's called NCEA. It's these exams
Oh.
that you do at the end of high school where you get your credits to go to uni and all that stuff. Um,
Mhm.
and then at one point, because I was never good at studying, so I just got really, really frustrated, and I just decided to just say, say, like, I'm done with it. I'm just gonna play League. So while everyone was studying, I just played League, and
Just try
eventually,
something new.
yeah, eventually I just got better. I surpassed them. I got a higher rank. I just got better at the game, and I started to be good enough to the point where I can start playing for the amateur competitive scene. So that was in 2014 when I first went to League of Legends Esports. That was season four. I wasn't that high of a rank. I think I was like mid to high platinum. So I started playing for amateur teams at that point. Um, yeah, I just joined a couple of amateur teams and then decided like had to start making my own team and stuff, and that's what I did. I made my own
Mhm.
team, um, recruited a bunch of players, and then played national tournaments up to that level. Um, After that, I stopped playing because I went to America, and then my laptop got stolen, so I couldn't play the game. So that means so instead of playing the game, I just watched the game, right? I couldn't play it, didn't have my laptop. I was broke. So I just watched the game on Twitch with on my Xbox, just in TV. And I watched the game so much that I decided, yeah, I want to coach people now. So I coached the game for another year or two. Um, then I went to Overwatch in 2016 when Overwatch came out. Um, and then the same thing happened. Started playing Overwatch. Got to a point where I could compete amateur, and then started to compete at the oceanic level. And coached that game for another 1 or 2 years. And yeah, that was it. After that, I took a break. I took a break and I went to study something else. But after COVID hit, I came back to League of Legends because I was working this part-time job, or this job that I'm doing that was pretty dead end. I didn't
Mhm.
see anything happening in that job, so
Yes.
I felt like I had to do something outside of the job to break free from the job. So I went back to League of Legends coaching because that was the only thing I had that I consider myself an expert in. So yeah, I coached up until now. From then, that was 2020.
So, if there is a guy who was, I mean, he wants to come in esport, what would your advice to him?
Well, the first advice is you have to be realistic and you have to understand that esports is not as fun as you think it is. A lot of people think of esports and they think being good at the video game is fun, and playing it and
Mm.
get paid for it is also fun. It's a nice bonus. But what they don't understand is that in esports, you having fun is not a priority. You winning the game is a priority. So the game like the different patches and updates, they don't care if you have fun or not. Like if a character that you like playing is bad, you can't just keep playing that character because you enjoy it. You have to find or learn a new character that you potentially hate, and you have to learn that
Yeah,
character to
because
to win the game.
your main focus is to beat the opponent, so you have
Exactly.
to upscale it.
Yes, so nobody cares if you have fun or not, even if you play a character. That's what happened to me in Overwatch. I had to learn characters I absolutely hated, and I never really got to play my favorite character in any of my tournaments. Um, so that's one thing. And another thing is that it will become a chore. Like you will play the game so much because you have to practice, you have to compete and stay updated. Because if you don't practice, everybody else is practicing, so you just fall behind. So you have to understand that you have to just practice relentlessly. You don't have a life. You're literally giving up your life for a pursuit of this career, which has a low chance of you making it. So that's the realism of it. And that's coming from someone that's done it. I did get lucky, I will admit that. Um, but
Yeah,
but
obviously,
yeah,
because
I had no life. Everything I did was the game. Like I lived and breathed the
mm,
game. I thought about the game. I played the game. I would watch the game. I talk about the game to other people. If I was out hanging out with other people and they didn't talk about the game, I literally had nothing to say. Right? It was only the
yeah,
game. I would dreamed about the game. I would go to sleep like still imagining the game. Like everything that your entire existence is the game.
yeah. You dedicated everything to get in the top 1%.
You have to be, yes, you have to be, yeah, you have to com relentlessly practice, even if you hate it, even if you don't like it, even if your eyes getting tired. Uh, you're literally throwing your life away for it. So you have to understand that if you want to do esports, is that you are literally giving up your life in pursuit of this, which has a very, very low chance of working. Um, if you want to do it for the money perspective, there's other ways to make money off playing games
Yeah,
without that level of stress. But yeah, if you are planning to take that route, you really have to be aware of the fact that you're literally giving away your entire life and that you will have to practice relentlessly and it's not going to be fun. And you just have to realize that and be prepared for it.
and also there is no, there's not any surety because the competition is too much tough in all esport things.
Yes, the competition is very fierce. Of course, it depends on the region that you're in. If you're
Mm.
playing in Korea, then it's just extremely ruthless. Like
Oh,
I can't even like even as a player myself, I can't even imagine the level of ruthlessness that you have to go through to be on even a academy Korean team. The competition
mm.
is so fierce there, everyone wants to do it. Teams have the leverage, right, where they can just replace you. And it's about supply and demand. Whoever has the most options has the leverage. And in regions like Korea and China, the teams have the most options because there's so many players that they can choose from. So you
Yeah.
have to be the one that's trying to outcompete everybody else at the same time. Whereas if you're in a more minor region, like for example Oceania, there are not that many players. So as
Mm.
a player, you can afford to be lazy, and that's the reason why these minor regions are not as good because the teams don't have leverage over you to keep pushing you. Um, that's one of the many factors. So yes, it is ultimately competitive, and not everyone's made for it. I wasn't naturally born good at the game. I had to practice a lot, and even through practicing a lot and throwing my life away for it, I still couldn't reach the tip of the top level.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's something that you have to keep in mind. In terms of the competitiveness, it is pretty ruthless depending on the region, especially if you're in America, if you're in Europe, China, Korea, those big regions. It is very, very unrealistic unless you are already at a very, very high rank and you're already very, very good at the game. If you're just like an average ranked player and you said, "Oh, I want to be in esports," then you have to be prepared to just throw away 5, 10 years of your life to get to that high rank in the
Five,
first
ten
place.
years.
Yes, it takes that long. It takes people that long. So when I played League of Legends, it took me probably about 4 years to get into low diamond rank, and that's probably about the top 3%. 4
So
years.
it's really hard. It's
It
not
is
all
very
about
hard.
fun.
It is. It's very hard. It's a complete grind. It took me 4 years, and that's not just 4 years of like after school playing a couple hours a day. That's 4 years of playing like 6 to 8 hours a day, just constantly looking at videos, watching, and writing down notes, and actually trying to improve. So if you're just somebody that has a day job, that goes to school, that goes to college, and you come back and you can only play like 3 or 4 hours before you have to go to bed, then you're probably not going to be in esports unless you're
No,
already a
yeah.
very, very high rank. You have to give up all of that
Mm.
to be in esports. It is very, very ruthless and it's very, very demanding career path. So people have to know that before they make that decision.
So which game are you coaching?
So right now I'm coaching League of Legends. I don't plan to stay coaching for long. So I don't plan to coach after this current split, which ends in about a week's time from the time of this recording. So yeah, that's what I'm coaching right now.
And did you ever try YouTube or anything for your esport career?
I did actually. I did consider that heavily, especially when I was a player. Um, it could have been something, but I just didn't prioritize that over being a player. I understood that if you are competing and you decide to have a YouTube or a Twitch or you want to promote your own personal brand, that takes away from you improving as a player because you
And
have
it,
you
yes, yes,
you have to like divert your attention into all of the other stuff. You have to interact with the audience. You have to try and be funny. You have to you have to do all your brand logos and your graphics and all of that. Um, or at least get someone else to like manage them. So it's just effort that you have to spend somewhere else other than improving at the game. And it's just that at the time, all that mattered to me was improving at the game. That was
improving
it.
game. Yeah,
Yeah. All that other stuff
it's
didn't
all
matter
about,
to me.
yeah, it's all about prioritize.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, but yeah, if we consider YouTube, YouTube is a good backup for gaming industry. As you say, you tried. You invested lot of years in this gaming industry. So,
Mhm.
if you make your personal brand on YouTube, so it will help you to earn. Not only just money. You have a separate fan base about your gameplay. A lot of fans are there who always supported you. So if there is any voting thing in esport, so you're gonna win because you have a fan base.
Yeah, that is a viable path that people can take. Is to yeah, and that's what a lot of former professional players do.
Yeah.
There's a couple of players from NA and a lot of former Korean pros. They do that. They use their name to continue on building their personal brand through social media.
Hmm.
Um, Me personally, as a player from this minor region, I just didn't have a big enough fan base to begin with while I was playing pro. You have to understand that in Oceania, I'll be honest, people don't really care about esports. Like you don't,
Hmm.
there's not really, there's not really like a fan base here. For example, I went to a New Zealand Nationals tournament. So this is like the Nationals tournament, the finals, and
Hmm.
they rented out this movie theater to play. Well, first of all, the games themselves weren't even that competitive. It was completely one-sided, so it wasn't that interesting to watch. And second of all, you don't really see any genuine fans in the crowd. There's not many fans. There's not any fans. The only people that were in the crowd were people like me who were involved in the industry or the direct family of those players that were playing.
Players.
There weren't any like fans that, followed them from the internet or whatever. Those were the only people that were there. So it doesn't really Oceanic doesn't really have a lot of fan base, so it's really really hard to take off. And because it's such a minor region and it's just so memed on, people don't take you seriously. It's like why would I watch someone if unless you're extremely extremely funny and have an extremely
Hmm.
standout personality, why would I watch him when I can watch someone that also speaks English, that's also better at the game, that's probably funnier from NA? So yeah, it just wasn't really a realistic thing to go, and I don't really, and even the Oceanic players that have gone further than I did, they have reached a higher level than I did, even they don't have an established personal brand and they can't get one going off. So it's not a very realistic option. But if you do, if you are successful as a professional player and you do play in a major region and you do get your name out, that is definitely something that you can do after your career as a competitor. Hmm.
So it sounds pretty tough in making a career in esports.
It is.
So
It is very hard.
now we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about our second topic, which is social media.
Hmm.
So how did you take this social media? Not only Instagram. Overall the things, and also you can see we are connected through social media right
Hmm.
now. So how did you take it? Whole social media things.
I think social media is a new age. Is like if you're not on social media, you have to you have to start considering it because there's just so many opportunities that are there. Now, a lot of people when they're on social media, they consume content. So there's two types of users. So there's people that consume content, which is 99% of people, and
99,
there's
absolutely.
people that create content. So
Hmm.
if you are addicted to social media, but you're not addicted to consuming content, and you're addicted to creating content, that's a
Creating it.
big area where you can tap into, where you can start making money from it. Whether you can build your own personal brand, whether you can connect with other people that also make money, whether you want to do marketing for other businesses through social media, because a lot of local
Hmm.
businesses especially if you go on Google Maps, right? For example, let's say you want to market for a business and you know a lot about social media and how to grow their accounts. You can go on Google Maps, search up local businesses in your area, and then click on their website and see if they have a social media. And if they don't, you can just go to them and say, hey, I can make you guys a Facebook page. I can grow you guys this. I can make you guys an Instagram page, get you this many followers and few months. I can drive traffic that way. Would you be interested in me doing this for you guys? Like there's a lot of there's some businesses that would be open to that. That want to drive more traffic into the area. So there's a lot of money to be made, a lot of opportunities there for social media. So if you're not on social media, I think that is something that you're missing out on. There's a lot of
Missing out.
opportunities there.
And as we see, peoples are also, peoples who are like from older generation, they are also accepting all those social media things.
Mhm.
Like as you are also, you are also Asian, so I am free to say
Mhm.
that you see like our grandpa and yeah, like our grandpas and all those older generation peoples, they
Mhm.
are, at firstly when the social media things came, they are taking it as fun, but now they are
Yes.
understanding that yeah, it is also so much important and you can also build your career about.
Yes, you completely can. Yeah, I've heard of so many different ways. You can monetize with Instagram. You can, so many different ways you can go monetize with Facebook ads. There's YouTube
Hmm.
automation where some people they can if they know how to go viral on YouTube, like if they know how to create the right thumbnails, they have the quality content. They can literally just hire someone to write a script, hire someone to edit a video, hire someone
Edit video.
to do a voiceover, hire someone to do a thumbnail, outsource
Hmm.
everything, and put the video together and make that video go viral. And that video will pay them like tens of thousands of dollars when they've only spent $50 on hiring everyone to make the video. So that's a lot of, yeah, that's something that's a very viable thing they can do. And the thing is that things like that, you can't, it doesn't even have to be your main thing. You can have your day job and still do that on the side.
Like a
So
passive thing.
right. So yeah, like you said with the grandparents and stuff, they are understanding this. Like my grandma uses WeChat. It's like a Chinese sort of messaging app.
Oh.
It's like yeah, it's a very huge app over there in China. But yeah, every one of my family uses WeChat. My parents, my grandparents, my uncles and aunties, like they all use WeChat. And yeah, they would see like people on WeChat. They scroll through those like reels and the Chinese version of TikTok reels, and they will see like people with big followings just making a lot of money just off social media. Um, so yeah, it is something that's definitely growing. And yeah, I think. if you are looking for something to do, something to learn about, is definitely how to grow a brand and how to market yourself on social media.
Yes, we see there are many multi-millionaire people who are,
hmm
I mean, grow by their social media. Like,
hmm
is it real that YouTube automation can make you millionaire?
Yes, completely.
From YouTube money, you can
Yes,
be a millionaire.
yes, easily. There are YouTube accounts that are earning literally tens of thousands of dollars a month, $50,000 a month, US dollars. Yes, there are
$50,000 a
YouTube
month.
accounts that can that earn that much, and what the thing is, there are some YouTube accounts that earn that much, but at the same time, the creator of the channel never has to show his face. He never has to show his own voice. All he does, he just outsources all the work, like I mentioned before. And as long as
Yeah.
he knows how to grow a channel from scratch, maybe he's got a couple channels before that's unrelated, but as long as he knows how to grow a channel, how to get the right thumbnails, how to have the right titles, how to retain the watch time, then yeah, he can grow channels just by outsourcing the work to put the videos together and just grow the channel that way. And then that video will be up there on the internet and people can just watch it and then he will get AdSense money. Yeah. So
So yeah, you can absolutely, I mean, do some crazy things, and it is also fun, not that much hard work to do anything in YouTube, and it pays well.
well, it depends on what you do. I would say a lot of YouTube content creation is a lot of hard work. Like if it depends on what type of channel you are doing. If you're,
Hmm.
for example, doing if you're someone like Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast, and he does all these videos and he's actually showing his face and he's got a professional camera crew out there. That's a lot of work. That's a full-time thing. If you're someone that
Yeah,
does a lot of podcasts, again, that's a full-time thing because you need to spend your time to prepare all your hardware, set up your studio, manage all your
writing a
guests,
script, doing all
writing,
those
you're
things.
coming out with topics,
Yeah.
reaching out to all the guests, how to network and stuff. That's a full-time job. So it depends on what kind of YouTube channel that you are, or what kind of content that you want to create. But for the people that are looking for very, very passive content, you can just do what I just said. Just tap into certain niche topics, like for example, sports, right? You can do
Yes.
animals, you can do celebrity news, and then you can just go on Fiverr or something and just hire someone. Say, oh hey, I can you just write me a script on the top 5 facts about fishes that you don't know, and then he'll write a script, get someone to do a voiceover, get someone to grab some clips of fishes and edit it together, get someone to draw a very eye-catching thumbnail, and that's it. That's all you got to do. So that can be something that you can just outsource to someone that you can just check in a couple of times a week,
Yeah,
and
but
um, and
I
yeah,
mean, it is hard in if I talk about 2015, it is hard. But now there's
Hmm.
AI. AI is doing also a lot of things very easier. You don't have
It
to, I mean,
is,
hire a physical one.
it is, yes, it is.
So
AI is something that's completely changing the game as well. Yes, but I
like
will say that
starting.
whoever decides to do YouTube automation, you don't use an AI voice because if you use an AI voice, you don't get monetized. So just
Oh,
remember that.
yes.
Mm.
But yeah, if I talk about, I mean, many useful things which are, I mean, basic needed like scripts, points, tags, and all those things, which is a hard thing at a
hmm
time. But now it's easy because of AI.
hmm Yeah, you can. Yeah.
So we are going to talk about our next topic is time management. So as I know you, I mean, I don't know you too much, but yeah, I
hmm
saw you, and that's you are doing a lot of things in your life, and also you are hustling, doing it esports. Also,
hmm
you have a job, so it's hard for you as I mean to managing your time. So how did you manage your time? Is there any tips or anything?
Um, so you have to break it down into hours, right? So you have 24 hours a day. Let's do it a calculator. How many hours is it? I'll just pull up a calculator. So 24 times 7 is 168 hours a week. So 168 hours a week. So let's say you work a full-time job. So your day job, we'll say
Hmm.
that's 40 hours a week. That's the uh, normal hours for a full-time job. So that leaves you with 128 hours. And let's say you're sleeping about 8 hours per night. Sometimes I don't even sleep 8 hours, but let's just say you do 8 times 7. That's what, 56? So minus that. So now you have 72 hours. And let's say you go to the gym for like 4 hours a week. So you minus 4, that's 68 hours. So if you're a single man and you work a day job and you go to the gym and you sleep 8 hours a day, you still have 68 hours left in the week to
which is
do
more than enough.
whatever. That's another full-time job. You can
Yeah,
actually
yeah, absolutely.
you can get another full-time job and earn more money. Or you can spend 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day learning about something. So for example, I spend 3 hours a day learning about e-commerce. So let's minus that by 3 times 7, so that's 21. So now I have 47 hours left. I still have so much time. I still have time for another full-time job. And what do I do
Yeah.
with those
So
47 hours? I work on my online store. I research some more about stocks and crypto. I do some extra exercise. I can go for a run. I can do some hobbies. I can learn chess. I can play piano. There's actually a lot more time than what people think there is.
so if someone's saying that I don't have time, I'm that too much busy for those things, he's only making excuse.
It
What did you
is.
think?
It completely is. 99% of the time, it is a genuine excuse. They just don't want to look at their time. And you know what the crazy thing is that if you do what I did, right, you pull up the calculator. So I have a calculator right here. If you pull up the calculator and you do all the numbers and you show them, like you have this much time left. There's this gap here. What are you doing from there to there? And you show
Hmm.
them that and you tell them that, but then they will come up with more excuses, right? You show them what
Yeah.
they're doing wrong, but instead of saying, okay, you're right, I do have that much time left, I could be doing this, they would just come up with excuses saying, oh yeah, but you know what, I just want to relax, like you got to have work-life balance, all that stuff. It's like, okay, that's fine. You want to relax, but if you want to decide to relax, then you can't complain that you don't have time because you consciously
Yeah.
made that decision to use that time to relax. So you can't
Relax.
complain that there's no time because you are up against people like me that don't want to relax.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's ultimately your fault and your excuse. And if you show them and they still come up with excuses, then that's just their problem.
Yeah.
It is how it
So
is.
I mean, yeah, you can expect better life if you are relaxing in your time. If you need something, you have to hustle. That's the only way. You have to
Right.
do. You have to sacrifice your relax.
Right. There are things that need to be done, right? Like if you have a goal, let's say you want to be a millionaire, are you going to be a millionaire by just working a day job and then just relaxing, go home, drink a beer, watch
Relaxing.
TV? No, you're not. It's not how the
Yes.
game works. Because there are people out there that are not relaxing, that's essentially taking your money. They're eating your lunch. So, you might go home, right? Let's say you go home. I'll give you a perfect example. You go home, you work your day job, you open your beer that you spend extra money to buy, you sit down, you watch TV, you're lazy and you didn't buy grocery, so you want to do Uber Eats. So let's say you order an Uber Eats. That Uber driver that's delivering you that Uber Eats after finishing his day job is going to get ahead of you because you're the one giving him your money.
Yeah.
So he's going to
Or just
be richer
relax
than
you.
you.
Hmm. So, the, I mean, it's a good mindset that someone is working. If you're relaxing, doesn't
Hmm.
matter. Someone is
Exactly.
working at your place.
Exactly.
There are every type of people.
Exactly. There's always someone that's training, that's getting physically stronger. There's always someone that's getting richer. There's always someone that's getting more women. There's always someone that's, getting better at doing anything. There's always someone that's getting better at playing the piano. There's always someone that's better at playing chess. They're constantly practicing. And let's say you have a priority and your priority is getting fit and running a marathon and you can't and you're trying to train but you're just too lazy, well, just remember that somebody is out there just training. They're getting ahead of you. It's just what it is. Yeah, and if you decide to not train and not keep up with them, then you have made the decision to fall behind.
It's your problem, and
Yeah.
then you. I saw people that they say that we don't have time, we are tired, we are doing a lot of things. Then the other time they are got depressed because they are not into top 1%.
Exactly. Instead of spending the extra hours that we mentioned during the week, instead of spending those hours actually doing something, they spend those hours sitting by themselves thinking of how they're depressed. Well, if you're depressed, you have all this time to do stuff about it, right? Like
Absolutely.
depression is like a biological mechanism that tells yourself that
Hmm.
your life situation is garbage. That's what depression is. Depression is telling you that your life is currently garbage and something needs to change. And if you don't change, you're going to stay depressed. That's just what it
That's
is.
easy. That's easy.
Yeah, you have to
It's logical.
you have to put your feeling, especially as a young man, you have to put your feelings aside, and you have to take action. That's the only way. There's no stupid pills that can fix your situation. There's no painkillers. Right? You have to go do
Hmm.
stuff, and you can only improve your life. There's no situation ever where working harder will not help. Right? If you're depressed and you work harder, whether it's fitness, right? You train harder, whether it's your job, you work more hours, right? If you work harder, it can only make you better. It will never not help your situation. Maybe you're more healthier. Maybe making more money. Maybe you're meeting
Yeah.
more people, right? Maybe you're getting better at a certain hobby, right? So working harder will ever not help. And the only way to really fix depression as a young man is not by taking pills. It's by taking action for yourself. Just work harder at something. Don't just sit there and not think about anything, because it's only when you sit there and there's nothing on your mind that's when depression takes you, because there's nothing that's preoccupying your mind. You're not thinking about getting fit. When I was depressed and I got out of depression by starting to lose weight and get fit. The moment when I started getting fit, I was no longer thinking about depression. I was thinking about my diet. I was thinking about my current weight. I was thinking about what I looked like. I was paying attention to how I physically feel. There was no more brain space for depression to take over. So the
Because
only
this
way
is the
to
real stuff.
right,
Yes.
yeah. So the only way to get over it is just to take action and start changing your life. That's the only way.
So,
Yeah.
so I think it's gonna help a lot of peoples about their excuses.
Mhm.
That I mean, the calculator method that you should put your real time on calculator and just calculate all your time.
Yeah. Accountability is a very important thing that you need to adapt. That you need to adopt into your life. And I learned this through esports. I couldn't improve as a player if I wasn't accountable for my actions. If I always blame something else that's not in my control, like for example, if I lose a game and I always blame things like teammates or the map or the patch, how this item's garbage, then how am I going to improve? These things are all outside my control. Yes, maybe your teammates are shit and maybe the game's still unwinnable, but you
Hmm.
didn't play perfectly because there's no game where you would have played perfectly. You still would have found that 1% that maybe it wouldn't win you that game, but it would have helped you to be aware of that to increase your performance in the future. So that's absolute accountability, and that's what something that a lot of hobbies can teach you. That's what chess can teach you. It teaches you absolute accountability. That everything that happens to you, whether it's good or bad, is completely your fault.
Your fault.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's completely your fault.
So, so yeah. Now, I think we should talk about something about fitness and gym
Hmm.
because I saw many of your posts. You are. I saw one of your posts. You are doing backflip and you are so fit.
Uh,
Is it you?
yes, yeah, everything.
And
Yeah, that is me in those posts. Yes, and
also you are doing. I mean, learning some martial art things. So something. Tell something about us.
so martial arts is I actually come across martial arts really early on in my life. Um, yeah, I been a Shaolin. I've done Shaolin martial arts. I've trained in China for as a kid. When I was like 3 or 4 years old, I trained in China as a kid for a year. And after coming here, I just kept up. It wasn't until I started my doing esports that I stopped doing martial arts.
Hmm.
And after my esports career was when I started when I was depressed. after I finished my esports career. And and like I said, the way I got out of that was through fitness. And through fitness, I started doing martial arts again. So I picked up kickboxing. I started doing taekwondo on top of whatever I was doing in kung fu. And yeah, I never went back from there. I still go to kickboxing um, every a couple times a week. I have a blue belt in taekwondo, um, and yeah, it's just a part of my life. I think it's very important that as a young man that you need to start doing martial arts and to learn the ability to fight, to physically
To defend
confront
yourself.
someone. Yes, it's
Yeah.
not that you're violent. It's not to be violent. It's that you have the capacity to be violent when you need to, but you learn how to control it. Because if you don't have that capacity, then it's not like a virtue. You're just weak, right?
Yes.
You're just weak.
Absolutely.
Whether if you opposed to if you do have that capacity and you control it, then that becomes a virtue. Then you become a disciplined, confident man. And it's and there's also you don't have to think about it in terms of yourself either. You can think about it in terms of the people you care about, right? Like
Mm.
if you're out, let's say if you have a girlfriend or wife and you're out with her, you want to have the physical capability to protect her. Same with your kids. Maybe you have a younger sister. Same thing. You want to have the physical capability to protect the people that you care about. What if what if it's not even like a guy that's like trying to rob her, whatever, but what if it's just like a general danger on the street? Let's say you're crossing the road, you're holding your girl's hand, you're crossing the road, and a car comes by, and you're not fit, and you're fat, and you're slow. You can't save her because you didn't
Yeah,
train
absolutely.
yourself. You didn't train yourself to be able to do that.
And
And that's your
excuse not gonna
fault.
work there.
Right,
Yeah.
that's exactly, precisely, that's your fault. So, fitness and combat is something that every man has to learn in order to become a competent man. Because it's just something in the real world that you just need to be a man. Simple. You need to protect the people you care about. You need to be healthy. You need to be a good role model to young boys out there, right? It's part of being a man. Um, and yeah, I just encourage that everybody, if you are thinking of something to learn, martial arts is definitely a way to go. And a fight gym, actually, like a fight gym or dojo, is actually one of the places where you'd meet some of the most down to earth people on the planet. Like like the people like a lot of people get intimidated to say, oh, I don't want to go to a fight gym because I might get bullied and stuff. It's like, no, that doesn't happen because everybody at a fight gym helps each other. They're some of the best people
Yeah.
you will ever meet, right? No one's gonna make fun of you. So I definitely do recommend if you just on your computer all day, you have no form of physicality, sign up to a martial arts class. 100%. Yeah.
Absolutely. I also started gym. I think it's been 7 to 8 months, and I have a lot of misconceptions about gym. Like, I think that they are too much. I thought at a time that they are too much. I mean,
Mhm.
violent people. I mean, they it is little bit violence things, and this is all about fight and a lot of misconceptions conceptions
Mhm.
about it. But
That's right.
when I go to gym, I mean, I saw the real thing is totally different.
Mhm.
People are very friendly. I mean, they help each other, and it's very good feel.
It is. It completely is. And it's just something special when you train with another person. If you train with another person, that builds like a special bond between you. You can make friends for life there. So yeah, completely.
So yes, you are talking. I can't recognize. What do you say? I mean, the name typhoon or something. Is it any? I mean, traditional fighting skill or what?
How do you mean exactly?
I mean, the thing you learned in kung fu. What it's named?
Oh, okay. So my kung fu background is Tai Chi,
Tai Chi.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chen style Tai Chi. Tai Chi has many different styles. The style I learned
okay.
is Chen style Tai Chi. And I've learned a little bit of uh, it's called Seven Star Mantis in Shaolin. That's what it's called. Um,
So it is a traditional thing.
Yeah, you can say it's traditional. Yeah, it's very traditional. I would say that the traditional form of martial arts, they're more like performance based, because there's two types of martial arts. There's performance based martial arts and there's practical based martial arts. A performance based
Okay.
martial arts would be something like Taekwondo,
Hmm.
and Tai Chi and Wushu, where they do a lot of like performance based competitions where they do flips and spin kicks and all that stuff. Not to say that they're not practical, it's just that if I was in a real street situation, I would not do a 720 spinning hook kick. That's not very reliable, right? I would just
Yeah,
punch them in the
yeah,
face, right? Right, like yeah. And a
absolutely.
practical martial art would be something like Muay Thai would be something like Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu, something that would actually designed to hurt people in the modern way that you can use in a real life situation.
To,
But
yeah,
the whole
defense yourself.
idea, but the whole idea of traditional martial arts and why they do all this what they call fancy stuff, the whole idea behind that is that if you can do that kind of stuff reliably and you can do that confidently, then that means that you can do even the simple moves without even thinking about it.
Yeah,
Because if I
absolutely.
can do a 720 hook kick and kick a board out of someone's hand, then in
Hmm.
a real street situation, I can easily just do a normal spin hook kick to someone's head without even thinking about it.
Absolutely.
So that's the idea behind traditional martial arts. And a lot of people have like I'm sick of watching these guys on YouTube where like, oh, this martial art doesn't work, or like why this doesn't work, blah blah blah. It's like it's not the martial arts fault. It's really the person's fault. Like for example, if I was to get in a fight on the street, I wouldn't be
Yes.
some like video game character who would be like, okay, I'll just use Taekwondo, or like, okay, I'll just use Tai Chi for this one. It's like, no, no, no. I'll just use everything that I've learned combined. Like, I would combine some kickboxing aspects that I learned with some Tai Chi aspects that I learned. And that becomes how I do things. So it's not the martial arts
Hmm.
fault, it's how you incorporate them into your being. Yeah.
So it sounds great. And these types of things take time and a lot of practice, and the journey is little bit painful. So most
hmm
people just say, no, it's I mean, it doesn't give you the dopamine you need. It's not funny. It is a
hmm
real stuff, so it's
Yes.
painful. So you
Yes.
have to be disciplined about it. So
Yes.
what do you think about it?
Of course, that's completely correct. And I think society, especially with social media, with all the TikTok and stuff, has uh,
Yeah.
gone in a direction where people's attention span is just completely destroyed. Have you ever physically watched someone use TikTok? You would see them. Just look at them on their phone. They'll be on their phone, and then they would
Hmm.
just go scroll, scroll, scroll. They can't even watch a video for 10 seconds. They just keep scrolling. The attention
Yes.
span is so destroyed. It's the instant dopamine with everything happening in the world. And one thing that not only martial arts, but just fitness in general teaches you is delayed gratification, right? You're not going to get a six pack
Hmm.
overnight. I didn't get fit
Yes,
overnight,
absolutely.
right? You have to consistently do what you have to do to get the results later on. You have to compound the efforts at the start where you see no results, and the efforts at the
Hmm.
start you will have to see later on. That's how it works, and it's the same with martial arts and stuff. Like you might not know how to learn a punch, and let's say you're learning how to punch, and you don't even know how to form a fist properly, right? You'll think it's a waste of time. You'll be like, I don't even know how to form a fist. And then this guy's here telling you, it's like, okay, well, you close your fingers this way, and then you got to put your thumb over this way, and you have to think about it. And then because your brain is so fried, you might be like, oh yeah, but like, oh, I don't have time to do that in a real situation. I can't think about it. Well, that's not the point. The point is that you have to learn this now to get it into your brain so that you don't have to think about it later on, because later on is where you see the proper results. Like if you're doing martial arts, I can close it. I can instantly go from open hand to a fist without even thinking about it.
Hmm.
Like in perfect form. I don't need to think about it. But I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't actually learn how to do it back when I was a kid,
Yes,
right? So
absolutely.
so yeah, delayed gratification is something that people have to learn again. It's it's ridiculous. I like most videos that I put on YouTube. I can guarantee that nobody ever watches to the end because
Yeah, absolutely.
the attention span is just not there. They don't have the discipline, or they don't have the attention span to just sit there and take in the information and to think about it. right?
They just,
Yeah.
cut the YouTube and go to Instagram Reels, scroll down something which
Mhm.
gives them more things. More. So, what's my point is, it is seems a little bit funny.
Mhm.
When I personally experienced that when I see sometime, yeah, when I see the reels,
Mhm.
so I can just remember last five reels.
Mhm.
I'm just watching this, but I
Yep.
don't know what I'm watching.
Right.
I just remember the thing what I'm watching. Once
Mhm.
I scroll it up, no, I don't know
It's
what I
just gone.
watch.
Yeah, it's just gone. Yeah. It's instant dopamine hits. And yeah, people will continually chase instant dopamine hits, but they won't actually build themselves and work on themselves to get the reward later on. I think there's only two things that can make you truly happy as a man. The first thing is to overcome any form of challenge and coming out the other side, whether it's physical challenge, whether it's a mental challenge, whether it's a financial challenge, any form of challenges and obstacles, and,
Challenge.
and you can triumph and come out the other side, and you keep doing that, that's the first thing that will make sure that you're happy as a man. The second thing that will make you happy as a man can only be possible if you do the first thing. And the second thing is to be able to look after and spoil the people that you genuinely care about. Could be your wife, could be your parents, could be your grandparents, could be your kids, right? Those are the only two things that really matter to a man, is to overcome challenges and to take care of the people that you genuinely care about. And how are you going to do that when you're constantly getting dopamine hits from TikTok reels? How are you going to take care of your wife when you're just watching TikTok, going into a shit job, right? Come back to a small house that you're still paying mortgage, that you're not renting out for more income because you haven't learned about finance, right? How are you going to take care of the people to the best of your ability? You can't, because you're constantly looking for that dopamine hit and you're not willing to put in the work to improve yourself in the long term. So because you can't do that, you will never reach true happiness and you will never be as happy as you can as a man. Yeah, and that's just how the direction that seems to be going today.
So, next, I am little curious about your stuffs because as you do a lot of things, you are, overcome all those lust and all those things which comes from, social media,
Mhm.
obviously these days.
Mhm.
So, if I ask you about, what is the one thing that you do for, get focused on every work you do?
So I'll go back to esports as an example. So let's say League of Legends. I know that
Okay.
99% of the people that play League of Legends, the game has negatively impacted them in their lives in some way, shape, or form. Whether they spent too much money on the game, whether they spent too
Hmm.
much time on the game. I've heard tragic stories. I read this Reddit story about how this guy was addicted to League of Legends and his wife was giving birth to his kids, but he just didn't even go to his wife because he was playing League of Legends. Like I've heard
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
I've
also heard that.
Right, yeah, exactly. I've heard like crazy stuff like that League of Legends has done to people to negatively impact their lives. Well, I managed to have League of Legends to positively impact my life somehow, right? I learned how to be mature. I learned how to, improve at something. I made money from it. Like, I'm one of the very, very few and rare people that's managed to do that. And I think the only reason that I was able to do that was because I was constantly seeking to improve, and that forced me to be very, very introspective. Like, I was able to take myself out of my body and look at myself from outside of from the third person
Hmm.
view, very objectively. I was able to look at myself because I have to watch like replays of my games to improve. So that means you're watching what you're doing when you're not doing it. When you're watching what you're doing as another person. So that's I think that's a very, very key thing, is to be able to step outside of yourself and to look at yourself from a very objective standpoint. And yeah, from there, like I improve. Like for example, I want to do this. Let's say I want to reach this rank. It's like, okay, well, what are you doing to reach this rank? How many are you really playing as much as you should be? Are you really analyzing as much as you should be? Let's say you want to make more money. I want to make more money. Okay, step outside of yourself. What are you doing to make more money? Where's your money coming from? How many streams of incomes do you have? How many hours in a day do you have left to build on another stream of income? Etc. etc. Same thing. You want to get fit, you want to get healthier. Step outside of yourself. Where are you now? Are you happy with yourself? How do you look? Are you happy with how you look? If you want to run, like, can you run this much distance in this amount of time? What do you need to do it? Step by the main thing to overcome many of these things that society is um, like negatively impact you is to be able to step outside of yourself and look. Think of yourself as somebody else that's watching over you. If you're sitting at night scrolling TikTok and you're not in shape, you don't have money, you're not good with women, you don't have a good car, you think about it. You look at yourself from a third person perspective, you're in this situation, and you just see yourself on the bed in the messy room just doing this.
It's not
What
gonna work.
what would you think of yourself? Think about it. God is watching. What would you think? Right? And you also and if you're religious, right? So I'm not necessarily like I'm not necessarily identify as one any particular religion, but I did go to a Catholic school. My high school was a Catholic school, so we can use God as an example, right? So I understand that in Christianity, the human body is a gift from God, right?
Absolutely, it is.
God gave you this gift. So imagine now that you give someone a gift. Let's say I give you this brand new flagship phone, brand new, all for you, perfect condition. And then you come back to the person a year later and you see the screen's all cracked, the case is all broken, one of the cameras don't work. Like, are you going to be happy with that person? No, you're not.
No, absolutely not.
Exactly. But
Yes.
if you go back to the person and you see that his phone is exactly the same condition, his screen's all clean, he's got a screen protector, he got a better case for it, he's cleaning his camera, his phone's still in great condition, then what would you think? You would very, very appreciate that person, right? You'd be like, wow, you took care of the gift that I give you. Like, good job. Like, I want to reward you with something or something, you know? And that's exactly the same thing. If you're God and you give this human body as a gift and you don't look after it and it becomes fat and sloppy and very disabled and you're in a very bad situation, he's going to frown upon you. He's not going to be happy, is he?
Hmm.
But if you
Absolutely.
if you take care of your body, if you make yourself strong, make yourself healthy, develop a lot of social skills, be nice to people, be respectful, and then guess what? God will be happy with you. And what happens when God was happy with you? Then that's when you become lucky. That's when things will start working your way, right? That's when,
Hmm.
if you're nice to people, you get more opportunities, right? People say, oh yeah, that guy got really lucky that he met that guy. But the truth is that if that guy didn't learn how to talk to people, and that guy didn't learn how to be nice and respectful, he wouldn't have got the opportunity anyway. So
Absolutely.
so
Yes.
yeah, it's definitely yeah, you have to definitely work on yourself. And the one thing that I will say is just step outside of yourself. Look at yourself. Put all your emotions aside because nobody cares about your emotions. Let's just be honest. As a man, nobody cares about
Hmm.
how you feel. So let's put that all aside and just look at your current situation from a very, very objective standpoint. That is probably the biggest tip I can give people to overcoming a lot of situations.
Thanks for that. And if I ask you about your best three decisions about your
hmm
life, what it would be?
I think the first decision would be to go with esports, to go all in with esports. I had a lot of pressure. It was also obviously I have very traditional Asian parents that wanted me to go to university and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I said no, right? I said no, I want to do with esports because I knew that if I didn't pursue that path as hard as I can, I would have spent the rest of my life wondering what if. So
What if I do?
yeah,
Yeah. If I
exactly.
if I never try, so it will a lifetime regret until you die.
Exactly, exactly. So that's number one. So that's the first decision is to actually take the risk and to go all in on something because I just can't handle thinking that I'm lying there as an old man just wondering what if. I can't handle that. I think that's very, very painful for anyone to have. So I'd rather
Hmm.
just do it and see what happens. So that's the first decision. The second decision would be the decision to decide to get fit. All right, I wasn't always in good shape. I was a bit chubby. Some of you can see the thumbnail on my latest video. Some of you can see that I was
Yeah.
a bit chubby, and and the decision to decide to get fit was the best I ever had. That actually paid me in so many areas of my life. Uh, it built so much confidence in me. It allowed me to start working on my social skills, to start learning how to be nice to people, how to be respectful, how to have great conversations with people, how to listen to people. That started teaching me about people skills, which lead me into a lot of further opportunities, right? Um, and it just made me a healthier person in general. And it just changed my outlook
Hmm.
on life. So yeah, fitness is definitely the second one. The third one's a very, very interesting one because I don't think the third one is necessarily a decision I made, but it is something that I came across and I decided to do. And the third one is coming to the conclusion that uh, that I should just that nobody cares about how I feel and I should just work. Because well, here's the thing: I wasn't always this switched on. I used to be just like everybody else. So I used to be out of shape. I used to do minimum work and just go
Hmm.
home and just play video games all night and then sleep for like 6 hours and then go to work again, go home, play video games. That was me. Um, so I understand what it was like to just be normal, right? But
Hmm.
after coming across like a lot of different things, after seeing the things that people can do, and after seeing like how you can make money and how I wasn't in the financially comfortable spot, like I was making money to survive, but I wasn't making
Hmm.
enough money to do what I want to do.
Wow, that's right.
And
To fulfill your all dreams.
right, and I think the previous two decisions kind of compounded into what I what it is right now. So I was just watching videos and I just came across like people that are very motivating, like people like David Goggins, people like the Tate brothers, people like those. Like they actually the way they talk and the way they just say things and let me know how like nobody cares and how this life is possible and you just need to continue and work for it because you're up against people that are completely relentless. Like I completely understood that. And I was just thinking like, okay, well, I understand now that if I don't do anything, then I will be living this current life forever, and I clearly don't want that. So that just means I have to do something. And of course, like the mindset I had from esports, right? The risk taker mindset. The idea that I can't just not do it and wonder what if. And same with the fitness mindset. The idea that I can just be consistent and and be disciplined for it. Like I knew that because by that time I already had the confidence, right? I already whatever I wanted to do in life, I've done it.
Hmm.
I wanted to be a professional esports player. I've done it. I wanted to
Done it.
lose weight and I wanted to get fit. I've done it. I wanted to learn how to do a backflip. I've done it. I wanted to improve my cardio. I wanted to run 2.5 kilometers in 12 minutes when I couldn't even run for 5 minutes to begin with. I'd done it. Everything I've done it. So now I decided that I want to have money. I want to have the best life possible. I want to be rich. I want to provide for my family and retire my parents. And I don't have a
Hmm.
choice except to think to myself that I'm going to do it. And because there's no option for me, that's why I'm relentlessly just working and doing so many things. And that's probably yeah the third breaking point of my life. The choice that I've made is just that like okay, no, well now you're already in your mid 20s. It's time to get to work. You can't mess around anymore. Yeah.
It's nice, and
Mm.
I think you would be agree with me. Like the people who make excuse and all those, I mean, negative things that no, this is not for me.
Mhm.
It's too early for go to gym. All those things. They are never agree with logical things. Like
Mhm.
if I saw many of the people they are not even agree with David Goggins and Peterson, Jordan, Ted brothers, everyone.
Mhm.
They're just saying no. They are doing things. They are rich. That's why they are talking like this. But no, they are talking very logically. I
Mhm.
also heard many podcasts of yes, Ted brothers also like Iman Ghazi
Mhm.
also.
I know Imagasi. Yep.
So I also heard a lot of them, and they are very logical. But
Yes.
I saw many people there who makes excuse. They are like just no, they are talking this because they are just rich.
Yeah. I know exactly why those people think that way, and that is because the success of other people directly proves to them why they are failures. and
The
that makes
numbers, absolutely.
and that makes them uncomfortable. So they have to come
Hmm.
up with an excuse to make them feel better. That's what it is, right? You can think about it in this situation. So let's take Andrew Tate for example. Andrew Tate, 25. So I'm 26. So he said when he was 25, he couldn't even pay rent. I'm 26, and I have a room that I stay in. I have food to
Yeah.
eat. Right? I'm already ahead of him. And he also said what? He said by the time he was 28, he was a millionaire. By the time he was 32 or 33, he bought his first Bugatti. That's how quick you can
Hmm.
do it. So if I sit there and I decide to go, oh yeah, but like he's only saying that because he's already got it, blah blah blah. Then how is that going to help me? But if I sit there and I go, okay, so he said that when he was my age, he was completely broke. So technically, I'm ahead of him. So if he can reach to that point, what am I going to do to get to that point when I'm his age? Right? So
Yes.
that's how you should think it. And what happens now is that because you're now thinking about it, you now try to find out how. So you watch all his videos, and that's what he said. He said when he was broke, he did this, this, and this. He didn't think about this, this, and this. And you take those advice on board because that is someone that's found success that you want to have. So instead of being arrogant, and instead of trying to make yourself feel better and completely negating what they say, why don't you just take what they say on board? Because these are the people living their best life. You think they're miserable,
Hmm.
but they're not. That's what society tells you. That's what you try to tell yourself to make you feel better. Do you think if you have millions of dollars and you can go and fly wherever you want, you're miserable? No, probably not.
No,
You probably have
absolutely
you
not.
probably have a good life, right? Do you think Iman
Yeah,
Ghazi is miserable? The guy retired his mum, bought his dream car at the age of 23. Do you think he's miserable? Probably not.
absolutely not. He's
Ex-
doing, yeah, he's doing a lot of things. I heard he make a lot of schools in Nepal.
exactly. Exactly. And these people, and here's the thing. People say like if you're rich blah blah blah, you need to help people blah blah blah. But the thing is it's like you can't help people if you're not rich in the first place.
Hmm.
You
Absolutely.
complain about helping people, right? You complain about how Bill Gates and all that aren't donating enough charity, whatever. But what are you doing? You're broke. You can't give anyone anything if you wanted to.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
so why don't you
Yes.
get yourself sorted, make sure you're rich first, and then you think about helping people. So that's another thing as well. So yeah, those type of excuses. This is what I call the loser mindset. It's when people always make excuses for themselves, and they will stay there forever. And if they don't, you know, do what I said about being objective and looking at yourself like from the outside, they will never escape that. They will never improve themselves and live a better
Hmm.
life. And and that's fine because that's their problem. They've chosen to do that. If I've shown someone and if I told them how it is and I try to bring them up and to improve themselves and they still make these excuses, then okay, fine. You can stay that way then. I'm going to keep moving
Yeah,
up. Get out of my way. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. So now I'm gonna talk about little. You can say it's a little bit odd topic, but I think you should. You have little bit experience about those things. So as you know, you are in your 20s, and
Mhm.
that's the time when you. You also need a. Life partner or love. So what do you
Mhm.
think about girlfriend and all those things? How much priority we should give it, and what is your view on that?
Well, first of all, let me just say that that is a natural biological urge that every guy has. Um,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
so completely like if you've never had a girlfriend before, if you've never slept with a woman, whatever, I think it's I think you can do one or two things. The first thing is just to get it out of the way. I don't care how you do it. You can pay someone to do it. You can do whatever. Like just get it out of the way because I'm telling you right now, it's not that good. Like it's very very overrated. All right, so get that
Hmm.
out of the way. Number two is that you think of it this way. So you want a girlfriend, you never had a girlfriend, blah blah blah. Remember what I said about what makes a man happy. And the second thing is to take care of someone that he really, really loves and respects. And like you said, if you want a girlfriend and a wife, that's obviously someone that you're going to love and respect. So you want to take care
Hmm.
of her and buy her everything that she wants and make her the happiest woman in the world. That will also make you happy as a man. But how are you going to do that if if you don't have your life together? If you don't have money, if you don't have a good job, if you're not in shape, right? If you're not confident, if you're not decisive, how are you going to take care of her? You can't. You really can't.
It's not gonna
So
work.
so
Yeah.
therefore you can't be happy when you have a girlfriend anyway. So the key thing is, especially when you're anything below the age of 30, I'll say, unless you have made it before 30, you should be working on
Hmm.
yourself, getting your life together, get in shape. That's number one. Fitness. Get your fitness on point. Look good for yourself. All right, be confident for yourself. Learn how to talk to people. Go to networking events. Find people that can give you a good job or that you have business opportunities with that can make you more money. And that leads to
Hmm.
the next point is the money. Right, make more money. How are you going to make more money? Your day job. How are you going to use your day job to invest to make you more money in the future? How are you going to have your own business? How are you going to build your own passive income streams? Are you going to do real estate, etc., etc.? Get those in order first, because after you have those done, then having a girlfriend would be 1,000 times better afterwards than if you had a girlfriend now.
Yes. Hmm.
Again, it's delayed gratification, right? People say that you have a girlfriend, blah blah blah, but if you don't work on yourself and and to be the man that the girl that you want needs, then it's not going to work anyway, is it? I
Yeah.
think it's important still to still like date around to just like get experience with women, especially nowadays in the West. Um, a lot of women is like they what they call finessed. They finesse guys a lot, where they
Hmm.
use you for your money, blah blah blah. So I think it's really important to learn about that and to be aware of how female nature works. I think that's very
Hmm.
important. But at the same time, you shouldn't be prioritizing getting a woman over building your life together. Like, sure, like if I
Absolutely.
see a girl that looks great, I would talk to her. I would ask her out on a date. But by no means that she's my priority, and by no means that I
Hmm.
will put my missions aside for her,
Oh yeah.
right? I'll tell you actually a story that I haven't told on social media on public before. So I met this girl earlier this last year actually. It was
Oh.
actually about a year ago. I met this girl about a year ago. She was a
Okay.
very very nice girl, very 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 nice, cute looking Korean lady, very nice.
Hmm.
And she was almost something that any guy would have wished for, right? Like the way she dressed was very nice. The way she talked to me was very polite. She never argued
Amazing.
with me. She never gave me a headache. I asked her
Hmm.
to iron my clothes for me because I had to do like more esports work after my day job,
Hmm.
so I didn't have time to iron my clothes. So I asked her to do that for me. She didn't know how, but she asked me to teach her, right? And I taught her, and she ironed my clothes for me. And
Hmm.
because she made my life easier and I was able to make more money, then we both win because I am able to take her to more expensive places, right? We had a
Yeah.
$500 steak dinner, right? I'm able to
Hmm.
take her out on these good dates and and buy her things that she wants because she's making my life easier. She was a very very good woman, very hard to find. Now, why am I not with her anymore is because she had a sister in Korea. She's very very close with her sister, and she wants to do a like a medical data analyst type of job. And she said
Hmm.
that the reason why she really really wants to go into that field was because her sister had some medical condition, which I'm not going to disclose. Her sister has
Okay.
some
Okay.
medical condition, and that
Yeah.
she wanted to work in the medical field so that she has some knowledge to help her sister, which I think is very, very
Hmm.
respectful. It's a very, very virtuous thing to do as a young lady, and I very, very respect
Yeah.
that.
It's her
Yeah.
responsibility also.
So exactly. So I was like, okay, what's your plan with that? And she said that she has to go back to Korea and to study and to get job experience there. Now,
Hmm.
obviously, that doesn't coincide with what I'm going to do. I have plans. I don't have plans to go to Korea for at least a couple years, right? I still need to make more
Hmm.
money. I still need to go to Australia, build businesses there, buy real estate. So, so that doesn't really coincide with my plans. And I have a boundary that I learned from the past where I don't do long distance relationships because they just simply don't work. So
Yes.
I told her I was like, okay, but I'm not going to Korea, and I don't do long distance relationships. That's just something I just don't do. And then she was very sad about it. She was like, oh, but well, what can we do about it? I was like, well, if you really really have to go back, I'm not going to stop you. I think you should go back. I think your sister is very someone that you obviously care a lot about, and I think you should go back to help her. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But you also have to understand that I can't go to Korea with you because that's not part
Hmm.
of my plan. That's not part of my plan to take care of my future family and to make me rich. So and she chose to go back, which is fine because I completely
It's a
understand.
situation.
Yeah, because
You have to
well,
accept it.
well, well there's different ways to look at it. You can say that if she was really, really like into me and she really, really wanted to trust me, and she really looked up to me as her man, she would have trusted me and stayed with me in Australia for the next 5 years or so until I would have gotten rich, and then once I'm rich, then we could have gotten back and take care of her sister. So she could have trusted me into doing that, but obviously I
Hmm.
understood that we only met each other for a month, so that level of
Hmm.
decision I can understand from her standpoint was just very, very difficult because to trust as good of a guy as I was to her, I don't expect her to trust me on that level within just a month because that's a very, very big decision to make. So that's fine.
Hmm.
And the point is that she was somebody that I really, really heavily considered to be my wife. She was a very, very good woman. But I
Hmm.
had to let her go because it just didn't align with my mission. And and the thing is that if I was to go with her and put everything aside for her, then she would lose respect for me anyway,
Hmm. Absolutely.
right? And if she loses respect for me, then she won't love me as much. And if she doesn't love me as much, then the relationship won't be as good. And then
Hmm.
that's when bad things happen. That's when she goes to cheat. That's when whatever. Whereas like
Hmm.
if I did what I did, I said sorry. Like I understand that you can go, and I'm not going to stop you from leaving, but I have to do what I have to do. Then yes, you lose her, but you leave the relationship with her still respecting you, with some kind of honor left under your name,
Hmm.
and that's what's important. And things happen for a reason. Like it just didn't work out. The timing's bad. There's plenty of fish in the sea, like they said. Like she's not going to be the only. Yeah, sure, she's a rare woman to find, but she's not the only one.
Yes.
And my mission has to take number one. So that's what you should do as a man: is that stop worrying about chicks, stop chasing chicks when you don't have your shit together, right?
Hmm.
Build a stable life, become financially independent, get your own place, get your own car, become fit and physically capable and in shape, become smarter and more knowledgeable, and it's only when you're a more competent man that more women will start being attracted to you. If you're 18 and you have a face full of acne and you're not in shape and you just come out of high school, nobody really wants you unless you're extremely good looking. Nobody wants you
Yeah.
because you don't
Absolutely.
because you don't have anything. You don't have life experience. You don't have money, right? What do you know? So so use that time, right, until you're 30. Because even if you're like 28, you can still date
Hmm.
someone that's like 22. Right? So it's not. So use that time to build yourself to become a better man. And it's only when you become a better man that you will find number one, you will find better woman, and number two is that after you have the woman, the relationship would be 1,000 times better anyway.
Hmm.
So yeah, learn female nature on the way, right? Don't
Hmm.
don't take any woman too seriously. All right, because and what I mean by that is don't let her get in the way of your goals. So
Yeah.
learn female nature, don't let women get in the way of your goals, and work on becoming the best version of yourself that you can be. And
So we have to take it like it is a part of life, not the whole life.
yes, it is a part of life. It's not yeah, you're right, completely. It's not your whole life. Your life can't be around the woman. The Having a woman is like icing on the cake, right? Everything is if you think about it, everything is better with a beautiful woman that you love by your
Hmm.
side. If you're driving down the highway in a nice car, it's better with a
Hmm.
beautiful woman by your side. If you're eating a nice dinner, it's better with a beautiful woman by your side. If you're going for a nice road trip or you're going to a spa, it's better with a beautiful woman
Hmm.
by your side. But at the same time, she doesn't make the experience. The dinner is still the nice dinner with or without the woman. The Ferrari is still a Ferrari without the nice woman, right? So
Hmm.
woman is icing on the cake. And like I said, once you have your life together, having that woman would be 1,000 times better anyway than it would have ever been. So focus on that first.
So a lot of thanks to you. It would definitely help because you say a lot of things from your experiences, and
Mm.
it helps. I hope. And let's talk about something which creates a lot of, 20s people out of the podcast. Do you, try some other things than a real job in internet to make money?
There's a
I'm
lot
just
of
asking. I'm just asking is
yeah,
normally. Then I'm
yeah,
gonna add it on podcast if
yeah.
you interested.
There's a lot of different ways to make money online nowadays. So we've already mentioned how you can do that through social media.
Hmm.
Um, but then there's other ways as well. You can do copywriting. You can do affiliate marketing. You can open your own online store like I did, like your own e-commerce store selling whether it's selling products. You could sell digital products like courses. There's a lot of things to be done. There's probably something that I don't even know about yet. So I think online is the way to go because if you can make money online, that means you're not geographically tied to a certain place, which means you
Hmm.
can work from wherever you want. So if you think about it this way, let's say you're doing copywriting, you're writing website or you're writing emails for a sales company. You can do that online. You can do that wherever you want. And let's say you're doing that for an American company. They're paying you, I don't know. Let's say that American company is paying you $3,000 a month,
Hmm.
American dollars a month. If you go to a cheap country, let's say the Philippines, right? You live
Hmm.
in Philippines and you just have your laptop and you're getting 3,000
Hmm.
American dollars a month. You are you are living a very good life there because things over
Yeah.
there are very, very cheap. So that is something that you
And
can do, right? So I think and you can only do that if your job is online and remote.
hmm.
So I think yeah, making money online is definitely something that any young man should look into if you're looking to be geographically independent.
So what are the things you tried out in your life? And doesn't matter it got success or fail. It doesn't matter.
hmm
What are the things you tried to get money from online?
Um, so so the first thing I ever did was just stocks, right? Just investing in stocks. I tried
Hmm.
doing swing trading for a bit, but
Oh.
I just never I never really had the time to. Well, I don't want to say I had the time, but it just never really worked out for me. Like the time it takes to learn swing trading, it just took way too long for me.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
So now instead of doing any form of trading, I just invest for long term instead. So I just put a lot of money every month into ETFs. So I
Hmm.
do investing stocks, and then I have crypto where I just have where I split up my profile in different proportions between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Um, so those are the first things I did. It was just general investing. Now, in other ways to make active income, I've been looking around for quite a lot. I've been doing a lot of just learning over the past few months, and the one thing that I've really settled on right now is doing e-commerce, which is to sell products online. So
Hmm.
the one I do is I'm doing this thing called print on demand, which is where they order products, and when they order
I
it,
saw it is something like a wall art painting
yes,
something.
yes, they're canvas
Hmm.
prints. Yes. So when the customer orders it, it gets printed and then it gets directly shipped to the customer. So it never
So
goes
it
through
is
me.
like an automation.
Yes, I have it linked to like a printing company, and then when the order goes through, they get it, they print it, and then they'll send it to the customer. Um, so yeah, like I have that going on as well. Those are probably the only things I've really gotten into online. Um, I'm not like that much of an expert, to be honest. I'm only starting to do this. I've
Hmm.
only started to do this like a few months ago. So yeah, I'm still trying to crack the matrix to say myself. So yeah,
Before we end this
Mhm.
podcast, I'm just gonna hear about what are your three life goals currently right now. Not
Yeah.
like that's the earning very much money. No, specific goals, things, tasks you want to do, which will figure out. in
Well,
your life?
the first life goal is to have the ability to travel whenever I want, wherever I want. That's the number one.
Time,
Is to,
time
yes,
free. Your
time and location freedom.
Yeah,
That
time and
is
location
that
free.
is
Absolutely.
that is the first life goal, is to be able to, because there's still a lot of places in the world that I haven't been to that I would very much like to visit. That I have friends over there
Hmm.
that I still need to visit. So I would like to do that. And to do that, you need to have money, right? So yeah, so that is my number one life goal, is time and location freedom. The second life goal is to be able to provide for and protect and to raise a very, very healthy family. That's the second life goal.
Hmm.
I think that's something that I have to do, right? It's like a duty. I feel a sense of duty to do that.
Hmm.
My ancestors and my grandparents didn't go through their hard lives for me to just not do that. I just
Hmm.
don't see any other option. So that's the second life goal. And I guess the third life goal was to find and expand like a network of people that I can really, really trust. Like I'm talking about genuine brotherhoods that I can really, really trust. Like
And
people that
connections.
people you would that you would trust in a life or death situation. Like I have somebody
Hmm.
that I know from when we were 9, 10 years old. He's still my friend uh, to this day, and we still live very, very close to each other, and we still hang out a lot. Like I will trust him if I had to leave my wife, my daughter, and my bank card in the same house as him for a whole week. I would know for a fact that nothing will happen.
Hmm. Everything is safe. Like.
Everything is safe if I had to leave it all up to him. I know that 100% because I know that he will also do the same for me. So
Hmm.
so it's those type of people that I want to get to know and expand. So yeah, those are the three main biggest things. Like all the fancy stuff like the yachts, the supercars, the private flights, those are just accessories that come with achieving those goals, right? So yeah.
So, and we move on to our next question. So, how do you? I mean, what is your view on the Asian parents for their childs to choosing career or over strictness or anything you can want to share?
Um, well, first of all, I don't want to disrespect my parents in any way. I think they've done their best. I
Yeah,
know that
absolutely.
they I will say though that they're very, very terrible teachers. They're very bad at
Hmm.
teaching, and they're very and sometimes they're not very good at how do I say it? They're not good at instilling certain principles into you as a person because they don't know how to teach. And there's a saying in English which is you don't know what you don't know, and that's fair enough. They don't know how to teach. They don't know how to get their point across. But I respect my parents, specifically my dad, because I knew that he did the best with whatever that he had. Like I
Hmm.
didn't become the man that I am today solely through my father. I had to learn a lot of it by myself. But at the same time, I can't blame my father because there's a lot of things that he didn't know, and I knew that he did the best of what he had to work with. That's the first thing about Asian parents. And the second thing is that I genuinely think that because of their lack of knowledge of how the world works and how the world's evolving, um,
Hmm.
that's the only reason why they're pushing you to do what they usually push you to do is because they don't know. That's the only thing that they've been taught. At the end of the
Hmm.
day, they still want the best for you, right? Because
Yeah, absolutely.
to them, working a job as a doctor is very stable and you can earn a lot of money, which
Which
obviously,
is also true,
yeah,
but
it's true, right?
yeah,
It sounds
hmm.
good for the kid, but at the same time, they also don't know that I can start an online shop and not do anything and just spend 6 months to set up everything, and then have that shop
Hmm.
earn 50 grand a month with me
Absolutely.
only looking
Yes.
after 5 hours a week, and then spend the
Hmm.
rest of the time doing whatever I want, whether it's buying real estate or building more income or spending time with my family, whatever. Right? They don't know that part. So obviously they're not gonna, and obviously they don't know how to get to that part either. So
Hmm.
they're not going to tell you something that they have completely no knowledge about, because to them the traditional working a job route is the thing that they've been taught. So yeah, I think at the end of the day they still want the best for you. It's just that they just don't
Hmm.
know so many things right now, um, and a lot of them don't, quite frankly, don't know how to teach you and how to get it
Hmm.
across. So yeah, just like if I don't know if there are any kids there that are struggling with Asian parents, like if your parents like telling you to be a doctor and you really don't want to be a doctor, understand that they want
Hmm.
the best for you and they want you to make money. So if you don't want to be a doctor and you don't want to go with the path that they've recommended you, then you also have the responsibility to come up with a better path or a path that's just as good that they don't know about. So yeah, that's what I think.
And because of strictness, there is also so many, I mean, good points. Like
Hmm.
you saw the like in UK, USA, all those states which are, I mean, very like strong in the technical way, or any way you say, in financial way, technical way, they are too
Hmm.
much strong. But if you see that in like India or China, any Asian country, there is very much success rate in love and relationships and all those things. There
Hmm.
are very less divorce rate,
Hmm. That's
as you
right.
see, like because of this strictness of parents.
I think a lot of it also has to do with the laws as well. Because I know in the West, the divorce rate heavily favors the woman.
Hmm.
And the stats show, like, I think the divorce rate is over 50% now, and over 80% of divorces are initiated by the woman. And the laws are actually set up in a way that it incentivizes the woman to get a divorce. Right? She gets everything. She gets the kids. She gets half of your wealth without even having to do anything. You have to pay
Hmm.
child service based on your percentage of income. Right? If you look at Kanye West, I think at some point he had to pay like $200,000 a month for child alimony or something. Something ridiculous. Obviously, you don't need $200,000 a month to raise a child. That's
Hmm.
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But he has to pay that anyway because that's a percentage of his income. And
That's.
what does the woman do with the rest of that money? Right? So the way the laws are set up, the West, I think it's yeah, it's just very favored towards women, and I think that's part of the reason why the divorce rates are so high. That on top of the fact that Western women are nowadays they're becoming more masculine because of the feminism movement, right? Like,
Hmm.
they want to be independent. They're celebrated for being independent. They're celebrated for having a job and a career. They're celebrated for not needing a man. So obviously,
Hmm.
if the society keeps telling them to do that, and they have ever so slight doubt of their relationship, then that will incentivize them to initiate a divorce. Whereas if you go into China or India, it's very family orientated. I know in India they still do
Hmm.
arranged marriages, right? And the arranged
Yeah.
marriages are for the families to get together. So if there's any problem in the relationship, it's not just you and the woman. It's also your families trying to fix the problem, which is why the divorce rate's not that high because everyone cares about it. Everyone's trying to fix it. Whereas in the West, if a woman sees any problem, she's just like, okay, yeah, I want a divorce, I'm out, and there's nothing you can do about it. Uh, so,
Hmm. Absolutely.
so yeah, that's part of why the divorce rates are so high in the West.
So I think it is enough for today.
Mm-hmm.
So if there any advice or anything last words you want to say in this podcast to our viewers.
Yeah. So, if you're a young man out there looking to make it in life, just remember that there's no excuses. Everything is ultimately your fault. We already showed you how many hours you have left in a week, so you have time to do whatever you want. So just yeah, it's on you, man.
Nobody.
It's on you to be
Yeah.
successful. Do you want it or not?
Hmm.
That's a simple thing. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, just follow me on my socials. I have my online store that's gonna be somewhere linked. Um, yeah, so if you just moved to a new house or you want to buy someone a present, yeah, just visit my online store for canvases. Got a photography from all over the world, from Beijing, Shanghai to London and Paris to Australia, New Zealand to USA.
I saw
Yeah.
the store is very big, and the wall prints are pretty much beautiful,
Mm.
and some are very traditional. I saw them; they are
Mm.
beautiful,
Thank
and
you, thank you.
they also deliver all over the world, I think.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to buy anyone a
So
present, yeah, go come visit my store. But other than that, yeah, thank you guys for watching.